Hi, I'm Sheila Mahoney with LifeSciHub, here to speak to you about considering consulting, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the profitable. This is an excerpt of a presentation that I gave to the Drug Information Association annual meeting in the summer of 2019 in San Diego. And there was so much interest, I thought it would be some good content to put out there more widely. So what I'm going to talk about today are elements of the decision. When you're thinking about becoming an independent consultant, here's like the psychology of the decision, because it's very much a personal choice. On the one hand, it has to do with how well you know how to do bookkeeping and how good you are with saving receipts and doing taxes and things like that. On the other hand, it is entirely due to what situations help to dictate your comfort zone. Then we're going to go into a quiz called Are You Ready to Go Gig? This is from the Harvard Business Review. It's a really good quiz, and I have the citation as well. Excellent article. I encourage you to take a look at that. And then there's a final tool that is a decision worksheet. This is pretty much a pros and cons list, and I have my own values in there, which will be pretty interesting. So let's get started. So here are the elements of the decision. When you think about being a full-time equivalent versus being an independent consultant, it's all about revenue stream and where does your money come from? And in particular, what is it that makes your pathway to that revenue stream, makes you feel safe? And what is it that triggers a feeling of uncertainty about that revenue stream? And how well can you tolerate that? And then these other elements as well are peripheral to that, but that's really at the core. Where do you feel safe? What makes you feel less certain? And so when I looked at all of these elements and tried to put it in terms of what a full-time equivalent might value the most, I put a few of these in blue. So for example, being paid by a W-2. Some folks love the idea of not having to deal with taxes. A W-2 actually is a service provided to the employee. And we don't look at it that way, but that really is true. There's an awful lot that goes into it. And the bottom line is a full-time employee does not need to worry about paying taxes. The W-2 and the payroll company provided by your employer does that for you. That's great for some people. Some people really love the structure of going to the same place every day and essentially having an organization that you fit into, a team that you're on, and who can possibly argue with benefits. That's really good. On the other hand, I put what my elements look like, both in blue for the things that I value and in red for the things that I don't, here as a contrast. So things that I really weigh pretty heavily in my decision, whether or not to be an employee or an independent consultant, are things like freedom, choice of the projects that I'm working on, creativity. I find that being an independent consultant, I've been able to get involved with projects that I never would have been able to had I been a full-time employee. And there are things that I find as a full-time employee that I don't value. I've never really done all that well with office politics, believe it or not. Showing up to the same office every single day, working in that environment, it's a level of intensity. I know a lot of people find that comforting. For me, I feel like I'm working in a fishbowl, and it really, I don't do well in that environment. And I can't remember why I put team in red. I don't know, maybe that was related to office politics. So what I'm going to do now is go through the Harvard Business Review quiz, grab a pen, and what I'd like you to do is to put yourself on pause, go through these 9 questions, and score yourself according to the scoring instructions up here. If you feel this way most of the time, give yourself 3 points. If it's almost never, give yourself 1 point, and then add them up. So go ahead, hit pause. And we're back. So here is the answer key. Move this out of the way. So this will give you a chance to go through and disseminate whether or not, according to the Harvard Business Review, you are ready to go gig. And I encourage you to take a look at this article. It's hbr.org, the May 2019 issue, and the title of the article is Are You Ready to Go Freelance? Very good resource. So I have another tool for you, and that's essentially a decision worksheet. And these are the elements that we just went through, put in the form of a pros and cons list. So if you notice here on the left, there are all the elements that I listed before. There could be other elements, there could be some other factors. You can modify this as you like. And what I did was go through each one and scored it dependent on, is it a pro or a con if I am working as a full-time equivalent? Is it a pro or a con if I am an independent consultant? And as you can see, there's a lot more blue over here on the consulting side than there is on the full-time equivalent side. Some yellow just simply means that was a wash, and that had to do with risks. So now what I'm going to do, and feel free to read my commentary, some of it is somewhat entertaining. What I'm going to do now on the next sheet is weight the elements that I find the most important. So I'm going to ask you, out of all of these on the left, pick one or two, possibly three at most, and then weight those the most heavily, whichever the ones that have the most impact on your decision. And so I really gave this some thought. I went through every single one of these and I figured which of them are like, must have, which of them are nice have, which of them are kind of neutral. And what I found was there were two elements that really are at the core of my decision to be an independent consultant. And here they are. It turns out that the office politics and the structure are the most heavily weighted factors in my decision to be an independent consultant. I really don't like working in an office. I need to be in an environment where I have variation. I like working from home. I like traveling. I like visiting offices. I don't like going to an office every single day. I don't do well in those environments. I find them very stressful. And you know what? When I'm in that environment, my coworkers don't like it either. And I've discovered this the hard way. So I'm better off as an independent consultant. I just thrive under these circumstances. Whereas another person might feel the exact opposite. They may feel at sea if they don't have the the structure of being in an office every day. And then there's corporate structure as well that I don't do well with that either. I don't actually fit in. And I think that's also related to office politics, that I find it very confining. And so those two elements are probably the most important that I weight personally for my decision. And I'm pretty sure, I would say I'm sure that I'm in a good place as an independent consultant. And it really is extremely personal. If you have any questions or would like to talk through this, please don't hesitate to reach out. www.LifeSciHub.com and email info@LifeSciHub.com. We're happy to talk to you. Thanks so much. I hope you found this time of value. See you next time.